what if I told you there's a game that takes place 20 years after Pokemon Platinum, where all the ex-Team Galactic commanders become Rowan's apprentices, Cyrus has kids, Cyrus is a good guy, and Ultra Wormholes have opened up, which leads us to leave the region of Sinnoh and go to a brand new region called Crystallis. Everybody, welcome to Pokemon Amethyst, a new Pokemon fan game that takes place 20 years in the future that features brand new Pokemon, new regional variants, and Pokemon all the way up to Generation 9, and an immersive story that tickles all the Sinnoh fanboys, me, and adds more personality to old characters while introducing new characters as well in a brand new region. Be sure to grab a snack, relax, hit the like button and subscribe, and let me know in the comment section below what is your favorite Pokemon region. Mine is Sinnoh, and let's get into the video. Now, before we jump into the main story, they actually gave you an option to play through the prologue of the game, in which you find out that this is actually a Pokemon Sinnoh sequel that takes place 20 years after the events of the games, but the prologue itself takes place 10 years. But it starts off telling you all the events in Pokemon Platinum, and then that after becoming champions, Ultra Wormholes started to open up in the region, and how all the ex-Team Galactic members started working with Professor Rowan. Now, first impressions, I'm already a Sinnoh stan, so like, I'm all for a Pokemon Platinum sequel, so let's get into the actual story content. Let me know in the comments what is your favorite region. But anyway, 10 years after Pokemon Platinum, we're kids. After choosing your character name and your character sprite, you meet this kid that's full of energy called Vector, who you find out is actually Cyrus's son. And then right after that, we meet Cyrus and Mars from Team Galactic, who are wearing Professor Rowan's robes. Now, Cyrus has two kids, Vector and Mistrio. And I kind of like the dynamic because Mistrio is like the older brother, the more calm and nerdy kind of older brother, whereas Vector's the very hyperactive, very energetic, very reckless younger brother. And I can already tell there's gonna be some clashings here and there in the future updates. But anyway, some random mysterious person comes and asks Cyrus to talk more about the wormhole research because he feels like that research can help find his wife that went missing 10 years ago. Now, I know I'm not the only person. He does kind of look suspicious, but he talks about supporting Cyrus and his recent changes. And you know, Cyrus being open and trustworthy to people now accepts the offer to show him more about the research and takes him to Mount Coronet. So unfortunately, they leave us with Mars to go and show this guy Mount Coronet and more of the research they were doing. And all we gotta do is give our dad his breakfast. And so when we finally give him his breakfast, we go back to Mars, and it turns out Mistrio and Vector are being attacked by a Shinx, and thankfully Mars saved them. She's so strong in this game. After all that, we head to the Jubilife Training School, which Mars is a teacher at, and we find out about a field trip that we get to go to, and they give us 3 Pokemon, a Starly, Shinx, and a Bidoof, and we get sent on a little small side quest to get an Oranberry, a White Apricorn, and to defeat a wild Pokemon, which we do. In the midst of doing all that, we find out that the field trip is going to be going to Veilstone City to go see Maylene, who we find out has achieved Mega Evolution in this world. But as soon as we're about to board the train to go to Veilstone, the Sinnoh region goes into a state of emergency. We found out an Ultra Wormhole is attacking our classmates, and we play as Mars to beat it. While that's going on, a huge portal opens up atop Mount Coronet, and 2 random grunts from Team Eclipse come out and attack Mistrio and the Riolu hatches from the egg he got from earlier. And we get into this battle where we see a brand new Spinarak variant that looks familiar, but I don't know where it's from, and an Ice-type Patrat. And then after beating the grunts, we get ambushed by more Team Eclipse grunts, and Mars is about to surrender herself before getting teleported to Lake Verity by the other Team Galactic commanders. And it turns out Cyrus actually got ambushed, and it was a trap this entire time. So the weird looking guy that he went with trapped Cyrus. And unfortunately, we have to lay low because the government is looking for anybody to put the blame on, and because Team Galactic has done this before, they kind of have to lay low, unfortunately. So unfortunately, they're sending us away from the Sinnoh region while they go and look for what happened to Cyrus. But while we try to escape, more Eclipse grunts and the police come. But thankfully, our mom saves us, and we get to have a whole bunch of little small mini battles, and we get to see new Pokemon like a Grass Dark Mawile and a Flying Electric Corviknight. Now, after beating all the grunts, our mom, Vector, Mars, Mistrio, and us all go and leave the Sinnoh region to go to Crystallis, leaving Saturn and Jupiter to be arrested by the police, and Cyrus's whereabouts unknown. And that is the prologue of Pokemon Amethyst. So now 10 years have passed and we are officially teenagers, I think 16 years old exactly, and Vector and me are all grown up. As we're about to leave the house, we see our mom, who is definitely aged because it has been like 10 years at this point, and she asks us to retrieve a package from the handicraft store, which is a hint to us being able to craft items in this game depending on the things that we pick up inside of the overworld. When we get outside, we meet this pink-haired girl that's looking for her Eevee, and for some reason, she's very mean to Vector, and Vector is 100% scared of this girl, bruh. Anyway, once we get to the lab, we found out Mistrio is now under Mars's mentorship, as he's gonna be the new Pokemon professor for us. We get to choose between 3 new regional variants of Piplup, Chimchar, and Turtwig. I choose Turtwig, who becomes Grass Crystal, which is a brand new typing in the game. I'll go ahead and I'll put the new type chart on the screen for anybody who's interested. But anyway, after choosing our starter, we battled Mistrio's Riolu, who we have seen in the past already. I'm surprised that he's still a Riolu at this point, but maybe that's going to be like some plot device later in the future. And after we beat him, we find out that we have to go to Hazelnut Town to sign up for the Pokemon League. Also, sidebar, I noticed that everybody is mean as hell to Vector. I'm not sure if that's going to like lead to some plot. I don't know, but I hope. Maybe that's too cliche. I don't know. But before we can even head over to Hazelnut Town, we see the same pink-haired girl who was bullying Vector in the beginning, and she asked us to help her find her Eevee, who went into a cave that's southwest of the town. Once we finally get to the cave, we ask the girl her real name, and it turns out her name is Alma, and we continue our search for Eevee. Now, this is a really short cave, so it wasn't too hard to find this damn thing. But once we get deeper, we find out that Eevee is being attacked by a Wugtrio, and thankfully the Wugtrio is like level 2, so it's not anything crazy to go against. But after she gets her Eevee and they all leave, for some reason Wugtrio drops a suitcase, and for some reason the suitcase looks oddly familiar, and inside is literally a Greasius orb. And if that doesn't give the entire damn game away, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, Giratina's literally on the title screen, and then out of nowhere Giratina pops up and attacks us. What the heck? The screen goes black and that's it. After we wake up, we head back home and get the package our mom wanted us to have, which has a bunch of standard starting items like a map, a lot of potions, a lot of Pokeballs, all that good stuff. And when we make it to Route 1, we find an old man who tries to teach us how to catch Pokemon, but gets taken away by this humongous Braviary. And it turns out the house on the route is his, and in the basement is a little girl fused with a Lillipup, which was kind of interesting. I'm not sure if that's a Fullmetal Alchemist reference or something like that, but we have to separate them using the password in the computer. The password is 310, and once separated, we give the Lillipup to the old man in the house to the left of the starting town, and the little girl goes home. Afterwards, we catch a new Pokemon named Minamai. Listen, you know, hey, I don't know. And we named it Saber after being jumped by a horde of them. And then right after that, we get into a random battle with some girl who was trying to catch her own Minami or Minamai. That's going to be hard to say, I'm going to be honest. But because of our Conquerors hockey, hers ran away. And so she got mad at us, so much so she asked us to battle her, beat her, and she tells us her name is Tana, and we owe her for missing out on a Minami, you know? We're not even an hour into the game and they already trying to flirt with us. Like, what's going on? After we finally make it to Hazelnut Town to register for the Pokemon League, it turns out that we have to take an exam to sign up for it. Our first assignment is getting a flag in the town's cave system, which we do very easily. And for our next challenge, we have to battle with Alma against an Elite Four member who's using Pokemon based on our levels. And he uses a brand new Pokemon called Balbi, and it turns out Alma was given the other starter Pokemon that me and Vector didn't choose, and after defeating the Elite Four member, we all start our real journey of becoming Pokemon Masters. Our first order of business is heading through Silverwind Forest to get to Leporium City, which is where the first gym badge resides. But first, back at the lab, Mars sends Mistrio on a journey of his own, and after he leaves, she gets a call from someone, wink wink, on whether or not their children will be okay and how she'll watch after us since we have the crystal now, which I don't know how the hell she knew about the crystal. I don't know if this was like a planet thing. I don't know what's going on. but I'm very interested to see where this goes. Now, while we're in the forest, you meet a kid named August. Listen, don't relax, right? I'm terrible with names. Who needs our help finding his Magnemite, but right past him is Victor, who wants to battle us finally, which, come on, you know how this ends. Come, y'all, please. Come on. He don't even have a lot of Pokemon to deal with. So it's like, are we serious? Come on. Anyway, once we get to Laporium City, we go straight to the gym, and it turns out Vector, and I guess me too, we don't accept the gym leader at all. He's like on some Volkner stuff where he's like jaded by battles, and none of the trainers that have come excite him to battle anything. So he doesn't accept our challenge at all. So he goes to his restaurant, and obviously Vector doesn't take that, nicely. So he just goes over there to give him a piece of his mind. And it turns out there's been a lot of thefts in town, and I don't understand why he wants us to go ahead and deal with that. But he's like, look, if you can do this and find these thieves, then I'll battle you. And of course, we have to go find these guys, and we do, but it turns out these guys are a part of Team Eclipse, or the Eclipse organization. So it's confirmed they're here in Crystallis as well. They run into the sewers, we chase after them, and after several trainer battles, we go ahead and defeat them. And unfortunately, they're able to escape, and of course, the gym leader scolds us, but I guess because we did stop the thieves from thieving, he accepts our challenge finally. Now, the first gym puzzle in this game is really cool because it's modeled after his own restaurant, but here you have to memorize all of the people's orders, and if you get it wrong, you have to battle the hosts or the waiters or whatever. I'm gonna just say it, spoiler alert, I get all of them wrong. I didn't screenshot the orders, so I didn't really care to do anything. Like, it is what it is. Anyway, now it's time to battle Ramiro, the fairy type gym leader. He sends out Wolfum, level 12, and none of my attacks do damage to this thing, unfortunately, so I just spam absorb till it goes down. He then sends out his ace Gramble, level 14, and I go for the Nuzzle before he's able to take down Armstrong, because his Armstrong's not really that strong, unfortunately, yet, but him being paralyzed does help out a lot. And thankfully I was able to take down the Gramble with Saber. And after the Gramble goes down, he sends out his last Pokemon called Pingupito. What I say about them names, who goes down by an acid, of course, and that takes down Ramiro, and we get the Cupid badge. When we get out of the gym, we run into Mysterio, who finally tells us he's going on his own journey and tells us to go find Alma, who's waiting for us in the forest. And that is the end of the demo of Pokemon Amethyst. Now, I know a lot of y'all are gonna be mad that the game isn't done, and you probably just watched this video for no reason, but relax for a moment. The game is still fun and definitely worth looking into and keeping up with. As a matter of fact, they're working on the next update as we speak. If you played the game yourself, be sure to go on their Twitter and fill out the feedback survey and tell them Nick sent you. But anyway, that's gonna be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and a comment. Subscribe if you guys are new for some more Pokemon content. And that is gonna be it for me. Thank you all so much for the support. Love you guys. Bye.